Good morning, everyone. This is Travis Witherspoon from Carter Cow Trading. Hopefully, everybody's doing very well. This is a update and a trade idea when it comes down to the Euro United States dollar. Overall, what we're going to end up doing, if we're going to take a look at the weekly, the daily, and then after that, the 2 hour to see if there's any type of trading opportunity early. I'm going to tell you right now, just in advance, it's probably not going to be a trading opportunity early. We will look at something going into the later part of this week, but it's good to be able to go ahead and get this idea out so you can kind of understand about where the market is going to end up going. And if everything does happen the way that it's expected to, then after that, you can be able to trade accordingly. So let's take a look at the weekly. If we look at this overall market, we can see that this market ended up pushing up and broken a trend line last week based off of the strong U.S. push and the state of transition when it came down to the overall market with the U.S. dollar starting to get a little bit stronger. Now, anytime that you end up having a breakout, the next thing that you have to look for is a retest. And that big retest was because of that breakout that ended up happening the week previously. So we go to the weekly and we take a look at what's happening with the overall weekly for this overall crossover. That means that now we have trading alignment between the weekly and we have trading alignment towards the daily. When it comes down to downside movement. So there's more pressure and there's probably going to be more movement sustained when it comes down to the overall downside movement. So if you was a part of our masterclass or if you was a part of our trading sessions that we end up doing live, we end up talking about this overall break that ended up happening right around the 1.18 area and having that counter trend line break. If you were not able to trade on this overall pair this week, this market actually ended up moving right around 242 pips. And that was kind of the same type of movement that ended up happening between the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar and the US CAD. All of them ended up moving right around 200 pips for its overall movement. The best thing about this is what we're looking at is this daily D extension at 1.1592 is about to be hit. I do expect that going into Sunday, it probably will get hit for the overall movement. That will be the end of the first swing. And going into next week, what I will look for is a counter trend line break toward the upside. Now, this means that going into the early portions of the week, it's probably not going to be that much of a trading opportunity. But I would like to see the market start to be able to give us a high price, and then after that, start to be able to break down lower from this overall move. If you are looking at being able to buy on the Euro United States dollar, I think it will be for a very short-term move. Me in particular, I'm not necessarily looking at being able to buy on the dollar. I'm looking at being able to sell. I'm not looking at buying on the euro. I'm looking at being able to sell on the Euro United States dollar to be able to go down to the 1.14 area. Now, if we look at volume profile, we can see that since the early portion of 2020, there is a lot of low volume right around this area. So the thing is, if we get a high price right around this area, right around the 1.8 area or anything else like that, I think that would probably be the best type of sale that you could be able to get at this particular point and be able to trade it all the way down to the downside. So there is a chance that the market could just keep on moving towards the downside. I think that more than likely we'll probably end up getting some type of a retracement. If we get that retracement where we end up having 2 days of overall bullish movement, then after that you have a chance to be able to see from a Fibonacci perspective about where the market is going to end up going, and then after that breaking from there. But overall, if we look at the weekly and we look at what's happening with the moving averages, we could tell right around the 1.13, right around the 1.14 area that's where most of the volume is going to end up being pushed back into the overall market. So I do think that we have a lot of room to the 1.14 area to be able to trade toward the downside. Now we have to be able to find a high price to be able to get back in. Until then, won't be able to look at the 2 hour when it comes down to an overall trade because it really doesn't make any sense. Now, if you are a scalper and you are trying to look at being able to trade it, this is where the overall trading plan will end up being for you. If you are looking at being able to get in, I would wait for the counter trend line to be able to happen towards the upside. If you do get that, then you probably have maybe 1 to 2 days of overall trading towards the upside, depending on whatever your overall trading parameters are. I know me particular, the way that I end up trading as a swing trader, I'm actually looking for more of a high price to be able to get in. We've already made our money to the downside. Now we're just trying to wait for a upside price, upside high, so we can be able to get into another sale. Now, if you like what we end up doing, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Send this video over to someone else, and stay tuned to all of the other videos that we have going on. Typically, I end up placing the videos. They end up having an 80% or higher chance of probability of success on being able to create income for you. This video is set up for going into next week because we're going to end up having a very high percentage of success going into the end of next week. So I want to keep that in mind for you. So until then, like always, plan your trade your plan.